He was sitting in the driver's seat, and we know that he was shot from outside of his vehicle.
I'm Phil Martino.
And I'm Madison Fitzpatrick. We're back for another season of Tracking a Killer, The Cold Case Files. We are turning up the heat on 8 unsolved homicides, including the decades-old Margaret McWilliams case out of Toronto.
That was normal that she would go out either bicycling, she'd go walking, she'd go jogging. The cause of death was ligature strangulation.
And we're taking a closer look at the 1990 disappearance of University of Toronto student Elizabeth Bain. Her boyfriend was wrongfully convicted of her murder. Now, a class at the University of Guelph Humber is examining police files on the case.
As far as I'm concerned, the more eyes, the better.
Listen to Tracking a Killer, The Cold Case Files on the Seeker app or wherever you get your podcasts.
You're listening to a Frequency Podcast Network production.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
This is the Brock and Dalby Podcast.
Yeah, good morning. I'm Dalby, and welcome to the Ann Dalby edition of the Brock and Dalby Show. Poor Brock's entire being was so thoroughly rocked by the offspring and bad religion yesterday. He's on bed rest this morning, which is to just say he knew he would have a hangover and he took the day off. But I am with you on a Friday, and a round of applause for all of you beautiful, sexy people for being here and surviving yet another week in the year of our Lord 2026. What a tough end to the business day yesterday. Canadian women's hockey team on top for 58 solid minutes of hockey. U.S. scores late in the third period, again in overtime, to win the gold medal. And man, seeing Marie-Philippe Poulin go to the bench and throw the stick, just overcome with an emotion, seeing all the other players on the team, like, I don't know which cameraman was in charge or who was doing like the camera switching for the broadcast here in Canada yesterday, but it was just like, okay, that player's crying, go over to that player's sad, over here, get over here, someone's having a meltdown. Like, they just managed to find every saddest possible shot for the broadcast that they possibly could. Heartbreaking moment in Canadian sport in general. Honestly, like, I know that in the mainstream, women's hockey doesn't get the same love as the men's game. Even yesterday, Canadian women have a gold medal game. People are trying to talk about the men's semifinal game that happened today. I just, like, you gotta give the respect to the team that's going for gold in that moment. We can't overlook that. And they put on a hell of a performance. I don't know how you watched that game yesterday and not come away with an appreciation for what we saw. Two teams battling it out in a forever rivalry. We had the stats on the show yesterday of how many times the Canadian women and the American women have met up in major gold medal games. It's staggering. Like, it's up there. It's Jordan versus Bird. It's Crosby versus Ovechkin. Canada versus USA. And the passion that we saw from both teams, the emotion when it was all over. How can you not be romantic about the sport when you see it being played like that, man? And again, when the game is over, the Americans are just so overjoyed. They're crying. Their coach is bawling on the bench. You can't believe he's so overcome with emotion. And then the heartbreak on the other side of the Canadian bench, and seeing Marie-Philippe Poulin go player to player and hug and talk to every single player on her roster and try to bring them back up and remind them of who they are. What an amazing moment in sportsmanship and just in sport. Like I said, like, how can you not be romantic about the sport? Hopefully this ends up with a big spike for the PWHL in terms of getting eyes on the game, because the women deserve it after that gold medal game. That said, that overtime goal is going to sting for a very long 4 years until 2030 in France.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
In today's story about things to keep you distracted, apparently we're going to get declassified alien files from the U.S. government at some point in the near future. Now, follow me on this one. It's a bit messy. So former U.S. President Barack Obama goes on a podcast. He is asked if aliens are real. He says yes, but he's never seen one, and also says that the whole Area 51 thing is a myth. We don't have bodies in Area 51, he says, which I think that's, we call his bluff on that one, but that's another topic for another time. Later, after the podcast, once the clips come out, he's asked to clarify, Obama says that he just believes in aliens. The universe is such a vast place. We must not be alone. He's not saying that he's seen proof that they're real. He's just speaking from his heart. Sure thing, Barry. Great catch. Good cover-up. Love what you're doing. But now, Donald Trump, current U.S. president, is jealous that Obama's getting attention. Of course, that's his rival. That's the Gary to his, whatever the name of the kid from Pokemon is. So now, Donald Trump has posted on his Truth Social that he's going to order his government to declassify files and documents pertaining to the existence of alien life forms and UFOs. Mind you, he does not say in his post or anywhere else that there is proof that they exist. Like, there's not like dead alien bodies, according to Donald Trump. He's not saying that there aren't. He's not saying that he's going to push the eject button on Mark Zuckerberg's human costume and make the alien come out and reveal himself or anything, but he doesn't say he's not going to do that. He's just saying that if the government has papers and files, they should reveal them, which is wild for two reasons in my mind. One, am I having a stroke, or did the government not already confirm aliens are real a few years ago? Like, super casual. Quick little press conference. Hey guys, they're out there. Good talk. Cheers. Thanks for coming out. And like, no one cared. Mexico tried to say they had alien bodies. I think that ended up being a hoax, but the American government full on was like, oh yeah, we've seen them. We've met them. Anyway, moving on with life. And nobody was like, sorry, more details, please. Everybody was just like, yeah, okay, that's chill. That's cool. And number two, the other reason that this whole thing is crazy, if we get quickly released, declassified, unredacted piles of files, a binder maybe, about aliens and UFOs and probings and whatnot, and we still have to fight tooth and nail to find out which of society's richest ass cacti went to Sex Island to go be monsters, what are we even doing here? What is this? What is all this about? This cannot be our top priority right now.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
Okay, I'm glad I'm not the only one who remembers that the government told us about aliens once already. 762-555. People are texting you like, yeah, that definitely happened, right? Feels like we're in a support group. I thought I was taking crazy pills, but for a lot of people, they don't need this government confirmation of aliens that were being promised. They have it themselves. A number of friends of the show on the text line all saying that they saw things like unexplainable lights over their homes, moving in ways that no plane or satellite could. They've seen things, they've heard things. There are just things that can't be explained by any other thing than aliens. We haven't got any abduction stories, which is unsurprising, but Kurt did text in to say that he's personally gone to visit 3 different crop circles and has a lot of questions about how they were made. And then when I tried to call Kurt back, he texted in, I tried to call him to get more of his story. He didn't answer. So I assume his phone was tapped and he's not with us anymore. It's the only reasonable explanation. It's just so fascinating to me that anyone who says that they have an experience with aliens is immediately assumed to be crazy. Like, it's something we've talked about as society and movies and pop culture and just conversation, science, curiosity for years. But as soon as someone's like, yeah, I actually have seen aliens, like I definitely know that they exist, immediately it's like, well, that's a crazy person. I think it's one of the things that actually makes me believe alien conspiracies is it's just how fast they're all shrugged off. Like when you'd find a bag of oregano in your mom's nightstand when you were a kid, and she would immediately be like, oh, it's nothing. There's no bag. You're crazy. Why are you saying such crazy things? And then you get older and you realize, I don't think mom was seasoning in the bedroom. And then you realize that you hate yourself because you put those words in that order, and that's going to haunt you for a little while. And maybe getting your mind wiped Men in Black style wouldn't be the worst thing that could happen to you, which could happen to you because aliens are real, and I won't be convinced otherwise. Anyway, R.I.P. Kurt, your bravery will not be forgotten, man.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
So the Buffalo Bills are very excited. They're moving into a brand new building this season. It's going to be a great thing for them, but they currently are dealing with a bit of a problem. So the Buffalo Bills have offered a $100,000 reward to find out which construction worker that was working on the new stadium apparently painted penises all over the place. Now, whether or not they can be seen is still, they're trying to kind of hide this. A lot of the news stories that have come out have said, oh, there's no details about what the graffiti in question is, but the Buffalo Bills are actively searching for the culprit, the person who defaced this new stadium. But some people are saying that it is, in fact, spray painted penises, which I know, awful thing to do. I have to assume it was someone who was hired to work on the building who is not a Bills fan. Any Bills fan would never. This is new sacred ground for Bills fans, for Bills Mafia. But what if you're a Jets fan? What if you're a New York Giants fan? What if you're a Patriots fan? Any of the Bills rivals, if you cheer for that team and you suddenly get a chance to deface the building where they're going to be playing, even if it's covert, even if it's sneaky, even if you thought no one would ever see it, how do you not take that opportunity? I mean, think about it, right? If you're a Habs fan and you were working on a new arena for the Toronto Maple Leafs, you're absolutely going to spray paint some 1967s in there. If not, again, spray painting some penises. It's just how sports rivalries work. And I'm not condoning what this person did, but I get it, and it is very funny.
This is the Brock and Dalby Podcast.
Time to play a little bit of hockey chirps on Win Stuff with Brock and Dalby. What we're doing, in case this is new to you, is we've asked you to give us your best hockey chirps. And those of you who have sent them in, there are some bangers today. Very excited to hear the rest of them as we go along. But the one that gets the most text, 762-555 from you, the jury, or, in this case, maybe the penalty box, you can tell us who deserves $100 in Lotto 649 tickets. And let's jump right into it here. We have longtime friend of the show, Lynn, with a hockey chirp.
My 89-year-old mother has better moves than you, and she's dead. Too much?
That's very intense, Lynn. That is a significant chirp to throw in the dead part at the end. Let's go here to this one. This one's from Brad.
Hey, bud, look at the neck guard on you. You must eat your corn on the cob the long way.
Corn on the cob the long way. Always a favorite of mine. Remember, if you want to play the game, it's all about the voice memos. Text in 762-555. A long friend of the county, long friend of the show, Ed from the county, playing the game today. Ed, what do you got?
Happy Friday. All right, here we go. Hey, bud, what'd you do? Watch a YouTube video? Thought you might give it a try, eh?
Thought you'd dabble in it a little bit, eh? Thought you'd just give it a shot? Thought you'd give it a go? This one's Matt.
Buddy, your game looks like my toilet after eating week-old meatloaf. Need a plunger?
Need a plunger is an excellent cap on that one. Let's go to Mike.
Nice pass, Gary. That's as soft as your pillowcase, bud. See you tomorrow at school. All of us have hot lunch while you're eating Mr. Noodles again. See you later, bud.
First and foremost, nothing wrong with eating Mr. Noodles. As far as I remember, when I was in high school, the kid with the Mr. Noodles was doing pretty well for himself, all right? Let's play one more. We got this one from Justin.
I've seen a wet spaghetti noodles more backbone than you, bud.
Okay, we've got some bangers today. I like Ed's calling someone a tourist, basically. Would you watch a YouTube video? I do Brad, corn the long way is always going to make me laugh.
Hey, bud, look at the neck guard on you. You must eat your corn on the cob the long way.
What do you guys think? 762-555. You're in the jury. You have a say in this. You get to tell us who you think is the winner. If you have a favorite, text in 762-555. Looks like we are getting a lot of votes for Lynn, who never disappoints.
My 89-year-old mother has better moves than you, and she's dead. Too much?
Not too much, Lynn. As a matter of fact, it would appear, according to the text line, that it is just enough, and it is, in fact, the winner. So congratulations. You get the round of applause. You get the ding. You get the win, and you get $100 in Lotto 649 tickets.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
the Brock and Dalby Podcast.
Congratulations to the team over behind The Simpsons for hitting 800 episodes. I think it is. I've seen some people try to say that makes it the longest per episode running scripted television show of all time. That was quickly debunked by literally anybody that's watched Coronation Street. But still, 800 episodes, especially for an animated TV show, is a whopping number to get to. And I wanted to put it in some perspective because The Simpsons has just always been there for a lot of people. It's hard to remember a time The Simpsons wasn't on TV, even if you don't watch it. And a lot of us stopped watching it after like season 10, season 11, have not followed up with it, but it's still always been there every Sunday, something you could count on. So I went back and I looked. The first episode, Simpsons Roasting on an Open Fire, and this is the actual Simpsons, not when they were a feature on the Tracy Ullman Show, aired December 17th, 1989. That's right. December of 1989, got full swing in 1990, which is now 36 years ago that this show started to air on television. Since then, there have been 6 U.S. presidents, couple Bushes, couple Trumps, Clinton and Obama have all been in there. It also started that you could buy the show on VHS when they were doing their season compendiums. Then you could get it on DVD. You could get it on Blu-ray or HD DVD. And now it's like the cornerstone of the Disney streaming franchise. So it's gone through all these different technologies. It predates the internet. The internet was just a theory at the time The Simpsons started. It started 5 weeks after the fall of the Berlin Wall. Back to the Future Part 2 was in theaters. Part 2 was in theaters when The Simpsons aired, and Nintendo released the Game Boy earlier the same year as the show came out. We didn't even have a Hubble telescope. And Hubble telescope is one of those pieces of technology that you're like, oh yeah, that's been around for a long time. The Simpsons has been around longer. It almost makes me want to watch the new episodes. But instead, I think after the show today, I'm just going to watch the softball episode for the 476th time. And I'm not going to be upset about it.
Want to be a part of the podcast?
Leave a message on the Bad Line.
The Bad Line is the answering machine for the Brock and Dalby Show.
To get the number, text the word BAD to 762-555.
Thanks for listening to the Brock and Dalby Podcast.
He was sitting in the driver's seat, and we know that he was shot from outside of his vehicle.
I'm Phil Martino.
And I'm Madison Fitzpatrick. We're back for another season of Tracking a Killer, the Cold Case Files. We are turning up the heat on 8 unsolved homicides, including the decades-old Margaret McWilliams case out of Toronto.
That was normal that she would go out either bicycling, she'd go walking, she'd go jogging. The cause of death was ligature strangulation.
And we're taking a closer look at the 1990 disappearance of University of Toronto student Elizabeth Bain. Her boyfriend was wrongfully convicted of her murder. Now, a class at the University of Guelph is examining police files on the case.
As far as I'm concerned, the more eyes, the better.
Listen to Tracking a Killer, the Cold Case Files on the Seeker app or wherever you get your podcasts.